Star Wars, it goes, there's light in the dark side, but there should be a gray jet. No, there is no gray area.
Right.
Either right or you're wrong.
That's right.
Either with him or you're not. You either believe he is the I am that I am, or you don't.
That's right.
It's easy. Because it says in John chapter 15, verses 4 through 6, Jesus says, remain in me and I will remain in you, just as no branch can bear fruit by itself unless it remains in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me, and in him bears much fruit. For without me, you can do nothing. If anyone does not remain in me, he's like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are gathered up, thrown into the fire, and burned. That's what happens when you're not with him.
Amen.
He gives you all the choices in the world, saying, if you're with me, and you stay with me, make sure I'm your lifeblood, make sure I'm the trunk, I'm the root, your foundation, you will always bear good fruit.
That's right.
But when you're not with me, not middle ground, when you're not with me. He didn't say, when you're kind of sort of there, but kind of connected and kind of, no. He said, when you're with me and you abide in me, you have much fruit. But if you don't, you'll be thrown into the wayside, gathered up, and burned. That's a huge analogy for the word, basically the lake of fire. At the end, when you're not with him, he's just going to gather you up and throw you into the lake of fire for eternal damnation. Do you want to listen to him before that time comes? Or do you want to not listen to him and have that time come for you? God gives you mercy every day you wake up.
That's right.
Every day you take a breath. Every day you open a program up. Every day you read a book. Every day you just sit there and smile. God's like, just come on home. That's all you have to do. Just believe in him and know one thing, that he is the I am that I am, and that you will make it. Because life does everything to us to make sure we don't believe. They say stuff like, that's too easy. It should be harder. It's like, yes, the path is hard, but it's an easy choice. You can take the easy way out, and it's a nice smooth path, and you know good and well, that's not the path you're supposed to be going to. It's harder because it's the right path. Everybody's trying their best to divert you from the path. Like I remember back in the day, whenever I worked at different jobs and told people I didn't drink, people were like, but you can have a drink. And I'm like, not sitting there trying to go after somebody, well, you shouldn't do this. No, that was my choice. I decided not to do that. But what happened? Every single person decided they're going to try to divert you from that path. They're trying to give something to you. So it's like, no, I chose this path. I chose this decision. I didn't waver back and forth. I chose not to do it. That's the same in everything in life, especially in the Word.
That's right.
Because it's pretty simple. Either you're with God or you're with the devil.
That's right.
You're either with the light or you're with darkness. Person, but one cannot exist without the other. Yes, one can exist without the other. It's called heaven. God gives you the choice if you want to exist that way. Because remember, he decides at one point, that's enough of that, and he just throws it away. Be happy you're still in mercy. Because it goes on further, and let's look at different relating versions or scriptures to John chapter 15, verses 4 through 6. It says in Matthew chapter 13, verse 21, but since he has no root, he remains for only a season. When trouble or persecution comes because of the word, he quickly falls away. Unfortunately, that is the life and times of Christians nowadays.
That's right.
They didn't build the foundation. They basically took the words about get rich quick or I can get healed, and then they move on.
Right.
They don't read anything else, don't take any time to let it come into them, or like Tim and Dad like to say, listen to an Audible book. Or even just, like, let's say someone says something's wrong with society. What do? You pick up some books and some literature, you read all up on it, and then you come back to that person with fire. That's not what most Christians do. Here's what happens: they ask them a hard question. They just pause. They get quiet. Because unfortunately, like Matthew chapter 13, verse 21, says, but since he has no root, or she has no root, they remain for only a season. So when any kind of problems hit them, any kind of trouble hits them, any person saying that God's not real, what happens? They fade away. And they fall back into whatever they were doing. Because you didn't make God your firm foundation. You didn't read on it every day. You didn't have just that one word you can just hold on to. So no matter what people does, you can build your strength up. You didn't have like words read to you, so whenever you forget, God will bring back a remembrance. Everything he has said. God's like, make me the firm root. Make me the tree, and you be the branches. And you'll have fruit. So when that situation, that trying time comes, you have something to fall back on.
That's right.
Because when people say like, they went through this, and the old saints like how they got over. Well, that's what everybody wants to know. If you're a Christian that basically believes in God, Whenever something bad happens, you remember how you got over. And you'll fall back on that foundation, and you'll use it to overcome whatever you need to come over. Because it says in John chapter 15, verse 16, you did not choose me, but I chose you. And I appointed you to go and bear fruit, fruit that will remain, so that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he will give you. Always remember, don't be so arrogant as to believe the Creator gave you the choice to choose him. He created you. He chose to make you. He chose to bring his son to protect you. His son chose to die for you. All you have to do is make a simple choice. Believe in me. And when you believe in him, you can get over anything. And he says when you get over anything, what happens? He said, whatever you ask in the Father's name, he will give you. So if you need healing, he'll give it to you. You need to get over whatever depression, whatever problems you have, he'll give it to you. Amen. You need a better relationship, he'll give it to you. You need to get out of a relationship, he'll give it to you. You need that car, that job, whatever it is you need, he'll give it to you. So let that sink in. The person created you, chose to protect you. Even when you messed up and fell, when he rewound the entire situation and flooded the whole entire earth, let you still remain because he still chose you. Let you build back up, messed up again, brought his son back. His son died for you, and all he asked from you is one thing: believe in me. Amen. It really is that easy. Yes, people will persecute because they know it's that easy. Because something's deep inside them that knows God exists, Jesus exists, and he did die for me. That's why you fight it so hard. Because you want to fall back. You made the choice to not believe in him. Please make the choice today to believe in him. Amen. So we'll jump over to Ephesians chapter 3, verses 15 through 17. So from whom every family in heaven and on earth derives its name, I pray that all riches of his glory, that he may strengthen you with power through his Spirit in your inner beings, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and grounded in love. That's another person that believes in Christ, saying, I know you're going to fall. I know you're going to have problems. I know that the situation will be bad and people will batter and beat on the house, like the person who built their rock on a firm foundation. Everything beat against it. The waters, the rivers, the seas, everything. But guess what happened? It didn't fall. Why? Because you were rooted and grounded in love. And what you need to do as a Christian, if you see another Christian falling, pray for them, strengthen them up, lend them a helping hand, and let them know God does love you. You will make it. He made it for me. Then give your testimony. And if you don't have a good enough testimony, tell them people who have a good testimony. And then tell them, look at this part right here, and let them read it so they can become rhema for them. And so that way it'll basically start flowing out. And then when someone says something bad about Jesus, all of a sudden it comes out of you like you just basically defend it. Why? Because you are rooted and grounded in love. And since you did that, God's like, now whatever you want, ask it of me, and I'll give it to you. And we'll do a little, again, cross-reference, because I went to this one website that has cross-reference for everything, so I'm going to keep saying cross-reference. And it says in Romans chapter 7, verse 22, for in my inner being I delight in God's law. Let that be the words that pops out of your mouth as a Christian. Because my inner man says, I love God. I delight in his law. Yes, people will fall. You will mess up. God said ask for forgiveness, but delight that there is law. Because if there's no law, there's chaos. And when there's chaos, there's destruction. We had a story like that was just put on my phone earlier this morning about a person that lived for 129 years. Says she remembers when all the people in Russia under Stalin were sent away out of their homeland years ago. And she says she's 129 years old, and she said, that's God's punishment because I've never had a good day. Do you know why that's the way that is? She made a choice. She decided over 129 years she's not going to believe in God. Because why? Because he's punished me to be alive. He gave you 129 years of mercy. Don't be that person that still, after 129 years of life, still hates God. He gave you a choice. He gave you all the word. Doesn't matter what language, whatever country you're from, you can find it. The Bible is the most publicized and most bought out famous book in history. You can find it. You have the internet. And if you don't, you can ride over to a village that has Wi-Fi and you can find the Bible. Someone may have like a piece of a Bible page. You pick it up and you read that until you find the rest of the Bible. You may find just a word that's just a sentence and someone told you about it. What you do is you pick it up and you keep on believing in that, and then it will grow. And what will happen? You will build your firm foundation. Because God said he is the way, the truth, and the light. And no one comes to the Father except who? Through him. That's John chapter 14, verse 6. Amen. Anybody who tells you you can go this way, you can go that way, or I can find the curvy path through enlightenment and find nirvana, they're lying. There's one way, one path, and only one way to make it. Because God said he's the way, the truth, and the light. He said no one. He didn't say someone. Maybe if you wait a little bit and you pray about it for 1,000 years, and I sit there and just do alms and everything else and get to the point where I can balance on my head and then levitate and use lightning from my hands and live 1,000 years, then I will find peace and well-being. He said, no. That's nonsense. Just believe in me. We're good.
Amen.
If the eternal being tells you it's that easy, why can't you believe him? Why is it so hard for people to believe that? You'll believe that a man went on the moon. You'll believe that, like Dad said, every time you sit down, that chair won't break. You believe every time you go to sleep, you're going to wake up. You believe every time you're here, the planet's not going to blow up and you can breathe. Why can't you believe a simple thing, that God created the world and his son died for you? It's that simple. And it says in John chapter 10, verse 11, it says, I am the good shepherd, and the good shepherd gives his life for the sheep. No other religion you will find where the leader will tell you, I will die for you.
Amen.
No. Don't say, you could die for me. That organization could die for me. They can martyr to the cause. The vast majority of them do not want to die for you. They will not put it in writing.
That's right.
They will not make sure it gets any kind of immortalized. After the fact, someone might die, and most people, they died. No, they didn't die. They were running. They were trying to get away. No, he said, I'll die for you. And when they caught him, what did he do? He went on that choke, went on the cross. So what did he do? He testified to 2 other people while he was dying.
Amen.
And then told the person, because you believe this night, I'll see you in the kingdom of heaven. Again, all we ask from you is one thing. Choice. Make the choice that God is your way, the truth, and the light. And you can have anything you want.
Anything.
I mean, it could be something simple. I want a ham sandwich. You guys say, okay. You want a ham sandwich? I'll give you a sub sandwich.
Right.
He said, well, I wanted a 76 Ford. I'll give you a 2019 Escalade. You're like, what in the world? All you have to do is ask. I'll handle the rest. God knows what you really want.
Praise
All
the
you
Lord.
have to do is ask. And it says in John chapter 10, verse 9, it says, I am the door. If anyone enters by me, he will be saved. He will go in and out and find pasture. He didn't say I'm the wall. I'm the revolving door. Or I have a pass. No, he said I'm the door. All you have to do believe is you go out to the pasture. Then I'll protect you as the good shepherd.
Amen.
I'll make sure all the lions, all the demons, or whatever problem it is, he'll get his forces like, get back. We're good. Because you don't see anywhere in the Bible of a demon. People are like, one person was telling me online, it's like, Jason, I'm the demon lord. I'm like, you know what? It's like, you're not a demon. He goes, why are you a demon? I said, you're a pitiful, sad little person that's silly and thinks it's fun to play black magic and say you're a demon. If you ever saw a demon in real life, you would wet your pants. Your person said, but I was like, no, there's no buts. I ain't got time for this. I said, there is good, there is evil. There are angels, there are demons. Don't play around with the black magic and the arts. You give place. And guess what happens? It means you don't make the choice to God. You're going down the path of darkness. And God, Satan sitting there laughing like, talking to God, I got him. And the guy sits there shaking his head. There's nothing I can do because he's allowing it.
That's right.
Because the idiot's talking about it and believes it and thinks, no, you're not middle ground. You made a choice.
That's right.
And now whatever he wants to do comes right in. Because remember, God's the door. All you do is to say, I want to enter, I believe in you. He's okay, let me give you a key. You can come in anytime you feel like. And when you're in here, when you're in a safe place,
Praise
I'll make
God.
sure that someone's always protecting you.
Always.
He said, no matter if you fall, I'm right there.
Praise
Someone
God.
comes against you, I'm right there. All you have to do is believe. Then we'll go on down to John chapter 8, verse 12. And again, remember, out of word of 2 or 3, every word's confirmed. It says, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but have the light of life. There is nowhere in the Bible you're going to see God or Jesus or anybody say, I will bring darkness on you if you follow me. I will destroy your houses if you follow me. No. Every bad thing that happened in the Bible is because you didn't listen. And even when you didn't listen, he gave you time to make up everything. Because what is it, Jonah in the well? Jonah in the well? That entire civilization was messing up. He sent someone to them to help them. And then what Jonah decided to do? I'm going to hide away from them so they don't get their word. God's like, no. Their punishment is going to be right here. It's going to be held off because you're still supposed to talk to them. So I'm going to sit there and make you wait it out so I can help them out. That's what God does. He gives you a choice. That's how you know if it's God or the devil. If you do something bad, God gives you a way out. He gives you some way to forgive yourself. He gives you a way to come on back home. When people block it off and say, you can't make it, there's no way out, that's not of God. It's pretty simple. And then we'll close by going to Psalms 51, verse 9. It says, hide in your face from my sins and blot out my iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from your presence, and take not your Holy Spirit from me. Whenever you have trying times, when you're going through any kind of problems, whenever you feel you've sinned, you somehow think you can't make it, just quote that word, that scripture back to you. Ask God for forgiveness. Remember one thing. Just come to Him and ask Him, can you create in me a clean heart? Can you blot out my sins with iniquity? And God's like, I can do it. And now since you did, you're back into the fold. You never really got out of the fold, you just fell aside. All He's asking for you is just to get that hand to pick you right back up. And I hope something I've said has helped someone out to know one thing. God is the way, the truth, and the light. All you have to do is just say, He is.